Welcome to the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you take the first steps on your fitness journey. Whether you're new to working out or you're looking to get back into it, we've got you covered with tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you reach your goals. So grab your workout gear and let's get started. And we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mack on another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. And today we got a special podcast episode for y'all today. I've never done one like this before. We have a special guest sitting here next to me if you're watching the video or the live stream. We are going to do an interview style podcast, so I hope y'all like it. If you do in the future, and maybe even bring back Nicholas here himself and do something else. So y'all let us know if you like the style podcast, and we can go from there. But today, I'm going to let Nicholas introduce himself. He is a local supplement and health store owner in Saraland. So if you're in the Saraland area, y'all come check him out. The name of the store is Mutiny Welfare. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about the store and what he has going on here at the store.
So guys, my name is Nicholas Drinkard. My wife and I opened Mutiny Welfare here in Saraland because we wanted to provide the area and the surrounding area an opportunity to get local and supplements and try to change your lifestyle and get a little bit healthier without having to travel, to Mobile or stuff like that. And there's a lot of people a little bit north up the road that have a hard time getting down here. So we just wanted to give the opportunity to get people on track their lifestyle and get healthy. And then, I'm here today because I met Murphy and I love his lifestyle and his podcast and his energy and everything he's doing to try to also help people. So we wanted to try to work together and tell you guys a little bit about ourselves and our story.
All right. So the way this podcast is going to work, it's going to be interview style. So I got a list of questions that we're going to run through and then just piggyback off of each other, and we're going to go from there. First and foremost, the first question I got is, how did you come up with the name Mutiny Welfare? I think that's a pretty unique name. I like the name, but it's not a typical supplement store name. So how'd you create that? And I like the logo as well. It's pretty sweet.
Thank you. So my wife and I, that was kind of the thought process. What is unique that's going to stand out that you're not familiar with? People don't hear about it a lot, and it just draws their attention. So the colors, for one, draw your attention. The name Mutiny, right? So you could think like a mutation, but also like a revolution, right? So we wanted to teach people that there's other ways to get healthy than just going to a doctor, and we want to try to provide them a way to get healthy so they don't have to rely on a doctor and go get on a bunch of medicines. We want to teach them about natural alternatives and a lifestyle of exercise and what it can do for the body overall, and teach you about healthy eating and stuff like that. And then welfare, is your wealth and your living style and stuff like that. So that's how we came with that. We spent a lot of time working on it. So that's why we got the DNA symbol and the little virus symbol and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It took me forever to come up with a name for the podcast, and I really could never find one that I really liked. So I was like, I just picked the first one and went with it, and hey, now we're here. So we're 52 episodes in now, so it's been working so far.
I like it.
So yeah, the first question I got, second question now is, how did you get started in the supplement and vitamin, and what inspired you to open up your own store?
So I've always been a fitness fanatic. I've always loved health and exercise and sports. I grew up playing baseball and football, and played a little bit of baseball in my freshman year, and then I kind of got outside of it. But then I started weightlifting, and I'd always been exceptionally strong for my size. So I was real little in high school, but I could lift heavy weights, and then it just progressed. And a couple years ago, I got sick from a little bit of unhealthy eating. I caught some real bad reflux that caused a tumor on my vocal cord, and then I had a hiatal hernia, and the doctor made an error in surgery, and he made another error, So I was in a real bad spot. I lost 25 pounds, was hospitalized for 20 days. I couldn't eat or drink. And when I got the second opportunity, basically at life, I really wanted to do more, and I wanted to help people and not ever let them get put in that position. And if I could help one person, then it was worth the journey back.
Oh, for sure. I definitely feel that, because I'm the same way with the podcast and with the videos that I like to make. Right. If one person could take just one thing from each post that I make, then it was worth it to me. It was successful, and That's kind of the whole idea behind it.
Absolutely.
All right, so the next question is: with so many supplement options available, how do you ensure that the products that you carry here meet high quality standards and or safe standards for customers?
So one thing that we look at is everything has to have a label, and the label has to be clear on everything it has. We don't use proprietary blends, matrix blends. We want you to know exactly what you're putting in your body. If you're getting 300 milligrams of caffeine, it has to say that. You can't say so much caffeine and then this nootropic and then this much beta alanine as one compound. It has to list them individually. That way I can tell you specifically, if you're a little bit sensitive to caffeine, I know exactly how much caffeine is in that dose so that you don't get the jitters or sick or something like that. And that's how I inform them of what they get.
Yeah, this is a big topic because y'all may not realize, but supplements are not regulated by the FDA.
Right, exactly.
So with that being said, a lot of supplement companies will try to cheat the customer by putting different things or maybe not recording everything they put in there and saying exactly what amounts in each on the label and stuff.
Right.
So you got to be careful with where you're getting your supplements at nowadays because the fitness industry is a money industry. They're there to make money. So
It is. There's a lot of gimmicks and a lot of fads. And
yeah,
one brand that I really love is Axe and Sledge. And one of the things that I show customers is I have a brand that I'll hold a bottle of Axe Sledge pre-workout, and it's 40 servings. And then I'll give them the competitor brand that's 30 servings. And the competitor brand weighs a lot more than that Axe and Sledge for less servings. And that's how I show them the fillers and the additives that aren't necessary and teach them that you don't need all these compounds to help you get the workout that you want.
So next question, what are some of the most popular and sought after supplements and vitamins among your customers and what benefits do they offer?
So the benefits really depend on the customer too, right? So I don't sell fads and I try not to sell gimmicks. And I want people to understand that if you're not doing everything correctly yourselves, then the supplements don't really benefit you the way you want to. So are you eating correctly? Are you exercising? Are you drinking enough water? Are you living the lifestyle that you want as well as taking these supplements? Uh, but your pre-workouts and your proteins, all of our protein, so that's a big seller because that has a lot of study. And then creatine, that's the number one to me. That's the most studied supplement on the market today. There's all benefits, and right now there's no negatives that any scientist can find. You can look it up on the NIH, PubMed, and you can see all the trials and stuff that it's beneficial for every human that does any kind of daily exercise.
Yeah, I've taken creatine myself for pretty much ever since I started working out. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in the creatine as well. So next question, how do you stay informed about the latest research and developments in the supplement and health industry to keep your customers informed? Because we all know there's new studies coming out every day, and then there's some old studies that have kind of gone out of the picture.
Right.
So how do you keep up with the most up to date and accurate data?
So one way is I listen to podcasts and I try to find uh, people that are informed. I follow uh, doctors and scientists and I listen to what they say. And then I also try to do the research myself. And when I say research, I don't mean reading the headline. Or I try to look and make sure that there's clinical human trials on these things. And I try to understand. And I use PubMed a lot. And I try to make sure that what I'm reading is not some satire sites or, like you said, a gimmicky industry site that's just trying to buy your money.
Or even
Yeah,
biased towards their
bias,
supplement.
right, right. So the influencers are terrible at that.
Yeah.
And not an influencer like you. I'm talking about the influencers that will use mirrors and lightings and tell you that this product made them look this way when they're kind of excluding all the hard work that they put in.
Mm-hmm. That goes back again to shortcuts.
Right.
There's no shortcut in fitness.
No.
No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. You have to put in the work.
Exactly. I like to say it's simple, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put in the work.
So what challenges do you face in educating customers about right supplements for their specific health needs?
Social media. Social media is the biggest challenge because you'll see people come in here and say, I saw this on TikTok or I saw this on Facebook, and it might be a proprietary blend or compound, and I have to explain to them, hey, that's not exactly what it is. It's just a headline or a title, and then I'll take them back and I try to show them in detail what can do for you, what can't do for you. I try to explain compounds like citrulline, how it breaks down to arginine, and how it breaks down to nitric oxide synthesis. And you get the blood flow and the pump. And I try to go into as much detail and be as user friendly as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of misinformation on the internet.
Yes.
I feel like I'm a firm believer in people, they preach whatever works for them.
Right.
And everybody's different, so different things work for different people. Because like this one person may try this keto diet and it worked perfectly for them,
Right.
so they're gonna preach keto.
Right.
But then you may have this other person that they tried keto and it wasn't good for them at all. It may have actually hurt their health more than it helped them. So you kind of, I've always said, try it both ways,
right,
and see what works for you, and just stick with that one because everybody's gonna tell you different.
Right. What can you find that's sustainable for the long run?
Yeah.
Back to shortcuts, no shortcuts.
Yeah. So in the recent years, there's been an increase in concern about regulation and safety of supplements. We kind of hit on this earlier with the FDA. So how do you address these concerns with your customers?
So I try to make sure that I'm watching, and social media, we say little things that can be negative, but there are a lot of good. So I do try to watch and use social media and make sure that, there's no reports coming out, anything's going wrong. I try to keep up to date with the actual vendors and the products themselves, that there's no recalls, or I'm not seeing any kind of health issues, stuff like that. I try to stay as up to date as possible.
All right, so what advice do you have for individuals who are new to taking supplements and or vitamins and are unsure where to start?
So vitamins are a really good thing for everybody. We as a society right now don't get enough minerals and vitamins because we don't eat enough whole foods. We eat a lot of processed foods. So you have to learn your body and understand how your body's reacting, what it's doing. If you can't lose weight, you can't gain muscle, whatever it's doing, then that's kind of how I'll address them, what they need to take. And it's all individually based, really, and I learn the customer and I try to understand them.
All right. So have you noticed any emerging trends or specific health concerns that have influenced the types of supplements your customers are seeking?
No, nothing really besides maybe, well, your typical synthetics, always trending, and I always recommend everybody understand your body and see a urologist, get blood work, get tested before you do anything to your body. That's my biggest concern in the industry.
Yeah, the one trend I would say that I see a lot is I feel like pre-workout is becoming more and more of a thing. Like I see a lot of advertisement for pre-workout, a lot of influencers sponsoring these or supplement companies sponsoring these influencers that obviously are advertising for their brand. But I feel like most of the time it's always pre-workouts. And you don't see much advertisement for whey protein or even creatine.
Right.
You see a little bit, but not near as much as you see for pre-workout.
Because it's that flashy, the gimmick, catch them real fast. We got their attention and draw them in. And pre-workout is a good thing, but are there any real benefits besides getting you a little motivated to do your workout? Yeah. No, not necessarily.
I like pre-workout. I'm a caffeine junkie myself, so I like pre-workout. But yeah, it's kind of like you said, it's flashy, it's easy to market.
Right.
It's so, and it's like the younger generation pick up on that and they're like, "Ooh, I just need this," and I'm stronger just from taking the caffeine.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie, I've kind of been the same, and I like the feeling that I like the focus that I get from taking pre-workout. Yes. I feel like it helps me in the gym perform better. So that's why I like taking pre-workout.
One of the things that I'm trying to teach people now is when you speak of caffeine is lowering caffeine, right? Getting a pre-workout that is not so highly caffeinated but does have the nootropics and the focus blend, and then learning more about what we talked about a minute ago, the citrulline and the pump, getting the vasodilation to the muscle so that way the muscle grows. Caffeine is actually a constrictor of the blood vessels, whereas the citrulline opens it up. So if you have too much caffeine, you're kind of not getting the benefits that you want from a pre-workout.
Moving on. So can you share some success stories from your customers or from yourself who have experienced positive health outcomes through the use of supplements or vitamins?
Yeah, there's a couple. I've had customers come in here, and we also carry a fully medical grade body scan machine. So I've had a couple customers that lose weight, they're getting healthier, the blood pressure is reduced. We have people that go to the doctor here at Northside, and then they come here and they get some of their natural vitamins. We have a friend that she helps us with telling their customers about us. So we try to get all natural vitamins, no GMOs, no byproducts, and that's another way that we use people, or we try to keep up to date and learning. Is we have people that are in the medical field that kind of help us a little bit too, and they give us ideas of what's good and what's not good.
Yeah, I kind of lack in the vitamin department myself. I do eat a pretty well balanced diet.
Right.
I like to incorporate more whole foods and stuff, but I'm bad about taking vitamins. It's more of like I forget than rather I'm just not taking them. But yeah, I need to do a better job of that. All right, so this is a little different. This is more about business and entrepreneurship, but owning a retail business can be challenging. So, what are some of the unique aspects and rewards of running a supplement store that you experienced before?
It's very challenging. It's absolutely a hustle game. I have to put in as much as I want to get out of it. It's not just going to build itself. It's not just going to take off. The rewarding aspect is I genuinely love helping people. If I can make one person a little bit better by helping jumpstart their lifestyle journey, then that's all the reward I need. My wife and I thoroughly enjoy helping people in this store.
All right. So, how do you foster a sense of community and support among your customers who share an interest in health and wellness?
We're trying to do more with getting involved with the community. We try to go to the local gyms, and we try to do giveaways, and we try to find ways to promote a healthier lifestyle to our customers.
If you're not following them on Instagram, on Facebook, Mutiny Welfare Facebook, y'all go check their page out. They also have an online store, so you can buy your supplements online as well. And you talked about going into the local gyms. I think that's actually where we officially met for the first time.
Yep.
So you were doing some advertisement in the local YMCA, and I think that's where we first kind of met each other. And then ever since then, we've kind of just kept up the relationship from there. So, and now we're here. Next question. Are there any misconceptions or myths about supplements that you frequently encounter, and how do you debunk them?
There's always misconceptions. There's always myths. The big one was creatine. I still have a lot of customers that believe creatine can be like, is it steroids? Is it, harmful? So that one is the biggest one, and that one's I'll always go back to learning or reading the clinical trials and the studies and sites like PubMed that show you there are no real negatives to creatine. And then I try to make sure that I tell them the dosages correctly so that they're not wasting their money, because I don't want to take people's money. There's a big misconception that you can take more creatine and get more benefits when that's not true. 5 grams of creatine per day is the max that your body can really take in and be beneficial. Anything more than that, you just put a little excess load on the liver and the kidneys, and you're wasting your money.
Yeah, when I first started taking creatine, it always was said that it would make you dehydrated, so you had to drink more water. So when I was younger and take it, I would always make sure I'm drinking a lot of water when I took it.
Right.
And they said it was hard. I think it was your liver, because it was like So I always made sure I was hydrated, which was a good thing that I was doing.
Right.
But
And
it wasn't necessarily the truth.
There's a lot of women that fear creatine because it was always told that it would make them gain weight and look heavy.
Make them bloat.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not true. All you're doing is saturating the muscles and filling that muscle with the fluid so that it can remain in hypertrophy and grow.
Mm-hmm. So how do you stay competitive in the market, especially with the rise of online supplement sales in the larger chain stores, especially being a local store in a local area? I know this can definitely be a challenge with, you got the big retailers like Walmart selling supplements now, like name brand supplements now. You have other successful chains in the surrounding cities. Yeah, Amazon. and just every supplement company now just has their own website you can personally buy from. So how do you stay competitive in that market?
That is the biggest challenge so far, and it goes back to I call it the hustle game because I do have to put more into it, and I have to uh, work really hard. But I hope that when people come to see me and I show them that I really care and I want to help them, that helps give me that competitive edge because if you can build that relationship with your customer and they truly believe in you, then I think that's what's going to keep them coming back.
Yeah, it's all about making those relationships.
Right.
So looking into the future, what do you see as the most significant opportunities and challenges for the supplement and vitamin industry?
Ooh, that's a hard one. It's an ever growing industry, and right now it's very flashy and it's all the rave right now. So you do see a lot more people coming into the industry, and I guess the biggest challenge is to keep people understanding the reality and the real and the gimmicks and the stuff that will fade and show them what the true benefits are to your basic supplements and not getting caught up in all the flashy gimmicks and sales.
And I think with today's day and age, people are becoming more aware of how unhealthy foods are now.
Yes.
So they're realizing that they need to be healthier, that they need to start exercising, that they need to take care of their health because pretty much everything nowadays can cause cancer.
Yes.
So I feel like more and more people are starting to take their health more serious. With that being said, people are going to start buying supplements just by correlation.
Right.
So I think that'll be good for the supplement industry as well because I think it'll just keep growing from here on out. The more people that's working out, the more people that's going to take supplements.
Right.
So that's good for the industry as well. All right. With the growing interest in fitness and sports nutrition, what are some key supplements that can aid in performance, recovery, and muscle building?
So the number one supplement that I always tell everybody that pharmacists can't control is sleep. If they could bottle it up and sell it, they'd be gazillionaires. It is the most powerful drug that we can't market. Is sleep. Your body has to recover. If you're not letting the body recover, then you can't do anything. You can't think. You can't build muscle. You can't lose weight because the body just kind of wants to shut down a little bit. The second is what we just talked about: whole foods, the way you eat. I'm a supplement store. That's what I do. I supplement what you're not getting. So I try to tell everybody, number one is let's get sleep and let's eat correctly. And then we'll go from there. Then we'll get a little bit of protein. Then you say you're tired some. Then we'll start with a little bit of pre-workout. Then we'll go to recovery and stuff like that. So always sleep and food is number one.
And back to how you said you're a supplement store, I've always said supplements are exactly that. They're a supplement to your diet. They're not a substitute to your diet.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's good.
So the supplement industry is vast and new products continuously hit the market. How do you decide which new supplements to introduce to the store and which ones to recommend to your customers?
So number one is always go back to the label and make sure that the company is not selling a matrix or proprietary blend and they're not hiding compounds in their supplements. And then number two is the community. I really try to use social media to reach out and get feedback from the community and for you guys to tell us what you like. And then I try to go from there.
In recent years, there's been a rise in popularity of nootropics. So I actually know that you carry these here because we talked about them before. So what are your take on nootropics and what factors should customers consider before they use them?
I'm a big believer in nootropics and mycelium and mushrooms. Whenever I had my vocal cord surgery, one of the things that I help use for recovery from my therapist was lion's mane mushroom, and it sell it here. It comes in a little pill, and it helps with nerve recovery and nerve damage and stuff like that. Then we also have some focus blends that if I'm working a 12-hour shift and then I have to come to the shop, we have to do inventory, I can actually tell a little bit of a difference if I haven't been taking them regularly. So I do believe that if you get a quality nootropic, it does what it says it's supposed to do. We use Solaray, which are clinically studied and trialed, so we like those a lot.
Yeah, I feel like these are getting more and more popular nowadays. I see a lot of advertisement for the nootropics nowadays. A lot of the mushroom drinks and things like that. So I haven't tried them out myself yet, but maybe I'll have to soon.
They're really good. The more you dive into the world of mushrooms and mycelium network and Harvard, Yale, Stanford, they're doing all kinds of studies and even on psilocybin and everything. It's a really neat thing that's actually starting to come about.
So that about does it for all the supplement or business related questions that I had. Was there any other things you wanted to add about your store, the industry, supplements, health, anything like that before we hop into some fun questions that I have for you?
Um, no, just check us out. We want to help you, and if there's any way we can help you, you know, Murphy and I are going to be working together to try to help our community grow, and we hope that you guys come see us and check it out.
All right, so I got a few little fun questions that I come up with to ask him that I'm interested in. Here, these are the questions I'm really here for. So we'll hop into them. So we want to know what is your current supplement stack? So what do you take a day basis right now?
Um, Currently, I take creatine and I take my pre workouts. I'm a big believer in BCAAs. So in the fitness industry, there's two types of people. You're either all in on BCAAs or you're all out. I'm all in. I take them intra. I take a whey isolate protein and my vitamins. I take a lot of vitamins. I take magnesium, D3, B12, a couple other things I can't think of now. And then I take berberine and beets. Beets are a superfood. They're really good for you, but I can't drink them or eat them.
I've been
So
seeing a lot on the beats lately.
I do take beets. So I take probably about 10 vitamins a day. And your BAs, creatine, and protein powder.
So I've seen a lot of studies on the ashwagandha lately. So what's your viewpoint on ashwagandha?
It's really good. It also has a lot of studies and trials, and it helps reduce the stress in the body, and it helps people kind of relax and alleviating stress is great for the body because again, the body will kind of clam up if you're stressed or you're under duress or something like that. So I think it does have some studies of increasing testosterone too, maybe. Not many points,
I think
right? But
I've seen that before.
again, that's one of the things too, though. Is your food intake correct? Are you drinking enough water? Are you doing everything correctly? Mm-hmm. Because same with natural testosterone boosters, they will work, but you have to be doing everything correctly for them to work. They're not just going to naturally boost your testosterone and give you 10 plus.
And I will have to piggyback on the BCAAs. I think I'm the person that's all out on the BCAAs. I'm not against BCAAs. Right. I've just never really seen the benefit from them. I've taken them before, just in the past, messing around with them, but I didn't necessarily see the benefit to continue buying them because, as you know, supplements they're not cheap nowadays. Right, so unless you have a lot of expendable income, it can add up quick once you're buying all the other stuff to go along with it.
So it's probably a placebo to me, but when I'm drinking them intra workout, I feel like I stay a little more hydrated, and I feel like I can just push a little extra, and I can sweat a little more, and it just helps me get through it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do my current supplement stack as well. I'm pretty basic. So I like to take a pre-workout if I'm gonna be doing weights, which lately I haven't been lifting much weights because I'm doing a lot of endurance training. I don't use pre-workout if I'm doing endurance training because I don't necessarily think I need it. Once I get going, it kind of wakes me up and gets me going, so I don't really need it. So I like a pre-workout when I'm lifting weights. Obviously, I'm using whey protein. I only really take whey protein. I don't experiment with any other kinds of whey protein. With any other kinds of protein. I just stick with the whey, and then I also take the creatine. So that's my main three: pre-workout, creatine, and whey protein. That's about all I stick to. It's pretty basic. But again, you don't really need any of those. Right. They're again just a supplement. And we're both big into working out, so obviously we want to give us the best chance to see the best results possible. So that's why I take supplements at least, and I like all the extra stuff that goes along with it. So the next question, this is a fun one. So if you can only take 3 supplements for the rest of your life, what would they be, and why?
Creatine, as we discussed earlier, all the benefits known to it. It even has studies that show it increases cognitive ability, so it's good for your brain as well. It's an amazing product. Um, whey isolate protein, because when you exercise a lot and you want to gain muscle, protein is your main factor, and it's hard to get a lot of protein in. Especially me, I try to reduce my red meat intake in, uh, so it's hard to get protein in. So I probably drink 1 to 2 shakes a day. And the third one is non-stimulant pre-workout. I'm a big fan of the pump. I want the muscles to feel like they're about to explode during my workout. So it's got to have beta alanine and L-citrulline in it, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, mine's pretty. I only take 3 supplements really, so this question's easy for me. Pre-workout, creatine, whey. That'll be my 3. If I can only take 3 for the rest of my life. So what supplements, if any, do you suggest for a total beginner that's just getting into their fitness journey? Whether their goal may be weight loss, whether their goal is to gain weight, and then maybe if they're like a teenager or if they're older, what would you suggest them taking, if anything at all?
Like start with your water intake and your food, and get that right. And then once you get that right, we would go to just whey protein and then creatine. So those are your beginner friendly. And then if you want to get deeper into that, start with your pre-workouts, but use them for whatever you're. Because I like how you just stated that when you're doing your endurance training, you don't use pre-workout because, like we talked about, caffeine is a constrictor of the vessel. So when you're endurance training, you want to be full open up and be able to go long distance and stuff like that.
It was kind of a shock to me that I didn't need the pre-workout because I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got addicted to the pre-workout for a while, and I took it every day, but I was working out every day. But then when I started endurance training, I started realizing that I didn't need it. Like I didn't even want to take it anymore. So I just quit taking it. Now I may drink a cup of coffee before like my really long days, like on the weekend. I do really long exercises, so I'll take. So normally I'll drink a cup of coffee, but I don't take the pre-workout where you get all the jitters and everything like that. So I just use it for a little bit of pick me up and get me up because I'm working out super early in the morning.
Right.
But other than that, I haven't even taken the pre-workout in probably a few months now. So I got plenty of it ready to go when I start working out again. So in your opinion, what is the best and what is the worst bang for your buck supplement?
Bang for your buck. Workout is probably your best bang for your buck. It's limited in caffeine. You get 40 servings. So the price is good for the amount of servings you get. And then, like I said, it's that little bump just to get you motivated. Say you're lacking and you're having a hard time getting up, getting going. It is okay to use a little bit of caffeine to help you out. And then it has vitamins for cellular energy, and it has citrulline and stuff like that. And then the next bang for your buck is magnesium glycinate. It's a vitamin. What it does is it helps the body relax. And then I think 80% of America is deficient magnesium right now. So it supplements you with magnesium, and then the glycinate helps you go into what we call the calm head, and then you fully relaxed. It doesn't put you to sleep, but when you go to sleep, you actually get a full, deep, rested night's sleep. And as we said earlier, it's the most powerful supplement there is getting fully rested so you're prepared next day.
Yeah, I may need to try some of that magnesium myself, especially with all the long workouts I've been doing lately. So what would you say is the worst bang for your buck supplement as far as like price to benefit?
If you're not doing everything correctly and you're looking for a shortcut, testosterone boosters. Yeah. Natural testosterone boosters.
Yeah, I would agree. I've never taken a testosterone booster before. I am kind of young, so I don't necessarily need it. But I guess if you were at that age where you would need to start taking them, can get pretty expensive pretty quick.
They do. They are. And like I said, if you're not eating correctly and you're not drinking enough water and you're not exercising, then you're wasting your money, especially for the limited 200 points that it might give you if you're doing everything correctly.
So is there any supplement that you would suggest that a male take versus a female? Like, would you suggest anything different based off your sex? Obviously, I know testosterone
Right.
it's kind of a weird one because females don't produce as much as we do.
Right.
But like, other than testosterone, is there anything that you would suggest like a female take to help her, or rather?
Honestly, now the supplement companies do gear certain products or certain brands towards women and male, and I think that's just one of those gimmick things. So like, especially like Alani Nu, right? So it's more geared towards women, but some of their protein is the best tasting that I've had. But as far as what it does for the human body, no, I don't think there's really any difference in anything besides like a natural testosterone booster. It's more based off body type, body weight, stuff like that, and how much you can handle.
Would you ever suggest the test booster to a female?
Not in here in anything we do. Maybe if there's a female that's competing or some a certain circumstance where it could benefit them. I'm
Their
sure
doctor
there's
recommended it.
yeah,
or
I'm
something?
sure there's some reason, but just in general for a healthy lifestyle, no, not really.
Yeah. All right. So, what's the best-selling supplement that you currently have in the store?
Well, it was the Prime drinks. TikTok went crazy with those, and it would be constant after school. These kids would come in here and they love their Prime. But other than that, it would probably be the protein bars and the alpha line.
Was huge there for a while.
It was.
I ain't gonna lie, the marketing got me. I actually bought some myself, so I tried it out. But you mentioned the protein bars. I'm a huge protein bar person because I'm a snacker. So like I like to snack. So the way that I keep myself from just eating a bunch of junk food is I buy protein bars and I snack on those. So that way I at least think I'm eating something healthy and I'm getting a little protein at the same time. But that being said, protein bars are not always the healthiest for you. They still contain a lot of calories in them.
Yep.
So you gotta be careful with. You can't just sit there and eat a bunch of them. But I've grown to like the protein bars because it keeps me from eating a bunch of junk food.
Right. You have to read the labels and understand what you're still putting in, because everything counts. Everything that you put in your body counts. It's like your vehicle, right? You want to do the correct oil change. You want to put in the right windshield wiper fluid, the right blades. You have to do those things to be productive in it.
Currently in the supplement industry, or any trends that come in out of your store, like any products that are up or down, or like maybe something this the certain times of the year have different trends for certain supplements that people buy?
Yes, there are trends, and there's no real constant. It's a lot of variables to it.
Sorry.
One of the trends is basically what you spoke on. You see a lot of it is the pre-workouts. It's always something new and flashy trying to grab some attention, and that's the biggest marketing trend you'll see right now.
Yeah, I feel like marketing for the supplement industry is huge right now. When I first got into working out, I honestly didn't see much advertisement for supplements. I guess because the industry wasn't as big, but as it's growing, obviously you see more and more nowadays. So gotta be careful out there taking, because these supplement companies they want to make a paycheck just like everybody else.
Like you said earlier, they're not regulated either. So
yeah, the FDA does not have to approve supplements before they're put on the shelf at stores. So that being said, some companies will cut corners and use fillers and things like that that shouldn't necessarily be in there. So yeah, that's about all the questions I have for myself. Is there anything you'd like to add, or any questions you have for me?
I do. I want to get into. I want to let people know kind of what drew my attention to you, and I want them to get a little bit of that. So let's start with your training right now pretty heavily. What drives you to stay motivated? What makes you want to get up every day and do it?
It's a good question. I don't have like one specific like moment or thing that happened in my life that makes me get up and go. But I've always been I've always been active. Like I like to be outside. I like to be moving my body. I like to be doing something. I don't like to be inside just relaxing. I've always been that kind of go-getter person. So when I started working out in high school, and I just fell in love with it immediately. I was always on the skinnier side. You know, I mean, I didn't necessarily get like bullied or anything because I was so
Right.
small. But as soon as I started putting on some muscle, putting on some size, I fell in love with it. Like I liked the way it made me look, like the way it
Right.
made me feel. If you got some stress, go to the gym. I promise you, it'll make you feel good.
I
I
try to
don't know.
tell my wife that all the time. She's like, "You
Yeah,
love the gym. It's when I get in there, I relieve a lot of stress, and it helps."
it's like it's an escape. It really
Yes.
is. When I get in there and I put my headphones in, turn my music real loud, I'm not worried about what nobody else in there is doing.
Right.
I'm just worried
Right.
about it's just me and myself, and it's me against the weight at that moment. And just, I don't know. I just enjoy it. Like
Right.
the way I look at fitness is most people think of fitness as something that they have to do. Like you have to
Right.
do it to lose weight. Well, I look at it as something that I get to do because I enjoy it. That's what I like to do. A lot of people just in this area, they like to go fishing, they like to
Right.
go hunting. That's their hobby. So I look at
Right.
fitness as kind of like a hobby to me. I like to do it. Um, so yeah, that's just what keeps me going. I like to challenge myself to see what I'm capable of. I like to push
Right.
myself
Right.
because you'll never know what you're capable of if you never like try to step out of your comfort zone. So that's why you mentioned I'm training hard right now because I'm doing an Ironman. I've never done a triathlon, an Ironman ever. I've never done swimming, biking, or running. So a friend of mine kind of talked me into doing a smaller one in the local area, and I did it, and I liked it. So I was like, well, what's the next step? What's harder? What can I do to go to the next step? So I was like, all right, I'm doing Ironman. So I set that as my goal, and now I'm training for that each and every day. So hopefully, come November 4th, I will be an Ironman.
You will
That's
be.
the goal, at least. So it's kind of what keeps me going. Just I want to be healthy.
Right.
I want to be able to play with my kids, go outside, run
Right.
around with my kids when I'm older. I don't have kids currently, but I don't want to be, you know, slumped over, hurting. I don't want to be in the bed when I'm older.
Right.
Like I want to be up, moving. My goal is to be just as fit when I'm 60 as I am now.
That's one of the things that keeps me going. Is I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I want to be able to go outside like now and jump on the trampoline and show them how to do a backflip and stay, at 37 years old, stay active and healthy for them. All right. So outside of your exercise, what do you do to stay healthy? Like your eating, your mental health, natural sunlight, limited screen time. Are there things that you do daily to help you internally and externally?
So outside, well, one thing I do is it helps with eating is I like to meal prep. So that's huge for me. It helps me stick to my healthy eating, to my diet. Um, because if not, it's so easy to just go to fast food and
Yes.
get some food, and it's convenient nowadays. But if I meal prep, if I put in the time to go buy the food from the grocery store, to make it, to prep it, then I'm way more likely to actually eat it and not just let it go to waste. So that's one thing I make myself do to make sure that I'm sticking to my goals throughout the week. And
Right.
then on the weekend, I'll let myself splurge a little bit. I'm not so
Yeah.
strict on the weekend. I do enjoy myself. I'm not a robot. I don't eat chicken and rice every meal
Right.
like most people think fitness people do. That's not the case. I still eat donuts when I want to, eat ice cream if I want to, So other than that, uh, I mentioned I don't like to be inside, so getting sunlight is huge. I like to be outside as much as I possibly can. Like one thing I love doing is playing disc golf. So it's an out sport, obviously. So it gets me outside, it gets me in nature, so I'm not cooped up inside.
I'm a
Um,
big disc golf guy myself.
yeah, I love to play. It's fun. If you hadn't tried it, you should try it out.
It's one of the fastest growing sports out there right now.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I'm trying to think of some other things that I do for mental health. I've started meditating recently, so I have a little morning routine that I do, and right now I just meditate for 5 minutes. I can't. You want to make that longer, about 10, 15
Right.
minutes maybe, but I'm pretty new to it. So with that being said, I can't hold focus very long. So I'm starting with 5 minutes. I'm gonna do it for a while,
Right.
and then as I get better at it, I'll add some time here and there. But I've enjoyed it so far. It's one of those things that you kind of have to do it for a while before you start seeing the good
Right.
benefits from it. but I've done a lot of like not research, but I've watched a lot of videos and things about meditation online and how healthy it is for you. And a lot of successful people do it. So I was like, if they're doing it and they're successful, hey, it may work for me too.
Right.
So I was like, might as well try it. So I do that, and I think it really does help with being calm, with like helping you in stressful situations, or it makes you not react. Like when something goes wrong or goes bad, you kind of sit back and take a deep breath.
Right.
And you're like, okay, how should I react to this? Instead of just immediately going at it with a negative kind of matter. Like somebody ticks you off, you don't want to. You're not the first to jump down their throat, you know. So
that is a life goal of mine, is to learn to react with my thinking and not react emotionally.
Yeah, I think most people get heated in the moment, and a lot of times it leads them to acting in a way that they wish they wouldn't have acted, or done something they wish they wouldn't have done.
Well, we talked about disc golf, so what are some of your other outdoor hobbies that you do?
So, growing up, I played sports. I played football, basketball, baseball. Baseball was my main sport that I enjoyed. I don't really play any of those anymore at a competitive level. But yeah, I do the disc golf. That's why I love to do that. And I like it because you can go play by yourself and it's still fun. You don't have to have a whole group of people with you. I also like to play cornhole. So cornhole it's a pretty big rising sport now too. They actually have local places around here, around town, that they play weeklies on weeknights, and they have tournaments on the weekends and stuff. So it's pretty fun. I like to do cornhole. Other than that, I don't get to do much of it around here because we don't have anywhere to do it. But I like to hike. So hiking's fun. I did it when I was in Auburn. There was a state park up there that I like to hike at. And then me and my wife, for our anniversary, we're going to Arizona for a whole week in September. So we have it planned out to do a lot of hiking there because they have a lot of mountains and beautiful like rivers and things that you can go hike to. So we got that planned. So that'll be fun. Other than that, not much. Don't really have time to do much other than that. On top of working and then working out. So that's about it.
Well, yeah, so that brings me to my next one. Since you don't have time because you're training for it, what made you want to train for the Ironman?
Well, honestly, a year ago at this moment, I couldn't even have told you what an Ironman was. So a friend of mine that I used to work with, he did an Ironman, and that's when I kind of like learned what it was. I mean, I knew it was like a triathlon. I didn't understand the distance or anything like that. And he did it, and he did the local one. They have a local one in Fairhope, Alabama called the Grand Man, and he convinced me to sign up for that one. So I was like, all right, it's pretty short. I'll do it. If I like it, hey, maybe I'll do another one. We'll see. I didn't have no like goals or anything like that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm pretty athletic. I can probably just get it done. So I did that one. Immediately after I did it, I was like, yeah, I gotta do another one. Like I gotta do something harder. I gotta go to that next level.
Right.
So
competitive nature.
Yeah, it was like I gotta do that one step more. So of course, if you're from the triathlon world, you know like Ironman is like that's the top. Like that's where you want to do.
Right.
That's where you want to get. I mean, they have ones that are longer than Ironman, but like Ironman is like your standard. That's what you got to do. So I was like, I got to do it. It's one of those things. It's kind of like a bucket list item. You know, most people say they want to run a marathon.
Right.
So a marathon is a lot of people's bucket list items. Well, in Ironman, I run a marathon, so I can mark off two at once. So yeah, it's kind of like a bucket list thing, I guess. And I was like, I'm already in shape because I trained for the Grand Man. I was like, this is the year. I might as well do it now, since I've already been training a little bit. So it just made sense to go ahead and do it this year than to wait later in life when I'm probably less in shape.
Right.
Got kids later on, so it's easy for me to train now. I don't have many responsibilities. I got a wife and a dog, but it ain't like having a little baby or nothing like that. So yeah, that's why I decided to sign up for it. After this, I probably will never do another one again. We'll see.
All right. Well, walk us through your morning routine. From the time you wake up, how do you start to get ready for your training and then your day to work?
So I work out before work. I get up. My first alarm goes off 4 a.m. I'm not the best about getting up on my first alarm. So I normally get out of the bed about 4:15, 4:20 or something like that. You know, I do my normal bathroom stuff like brush my teeth, put deodorant on, all that kind of good morning stuff. Then after that, I write in a journal. So I do affirmations and I do gratefuls. Then I do my meditation and I do my prayer every morning. And then after that, I get all my stuff together, go to the gym, do my workout for that day. It depends. It's like when I was weightlifting, obviously I'm doing my weights for that day.
Right.
But now, lately, for my Iron training, I'm doing swimming in the morning, and then I'll do either biking or running in the afternoon. So I go to the gym, do my swimming, shower, stuff at the gym, go to work, and that's basically my morning routine. And then during the week, now I'm doing 2 days. So I go back to the gym after work, and I either bike or I'll run, depending on what my training is for that day. And then Saturday or Sunday, those are my long days. So Saturday I do a long bike, and then I do what they call a brick run, which is where you pair a run with your bike.
Right.
So you bike, you immediately get off the bike and start running. So I do that Saturday, and then Sunday I have my long run. So
And let's explain to these people. When he says long, I saw his post the other day. It was like 6 hours of
yeah,
exercise.
my bike ride this past Saturday was 5 hours, followed by a 50-minute run, and then on Sunday I ran for 2.5 hours. So it's pretty long, but it's still nowhere near where I got to get in the Ironman. So if you don't know the Ironman, you swim for 2.4 miles, you bike for 112 miles, and then you run a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. So it takes a long. You get 17 hours to complete it. So it takes a long time. It's like a whole day event, basically. But my goal is to do it in 14. I want to do it in 14 hours. But honestly, if I just finish, I'll be satisfied.
Right.
That's all I need. But I got to set a goal for myself. So I said, I'm going to do 14 hours. That's my goal.
Well, good. I like it. I like it. All right. So, say someone come to you and they were like, "Hey, Murphy, I want to start training or something." How would you kind of start them out? Say they want to do a healthy lifestyle and then start training, running, and biking. How would you kind of tell them to get started?
So from like an endurance side of things or weightlifting?
Just from a personal perspective, like hey, you should you know start running a couple miles a day, or start biking, or you should do some resistance training to start get your body right.
Well, I my background is in weightlifting. So obviously, I always go to weightlifting first. So I would tell you to start lifting weights 3 to 4 times a week because I believe that you're getting more shape. You can lose more weight from weightlifting. That's just my opinion. But at the same time, I do agree you should do some cardio. So I would say lift weights 3 to 4 times a week, starting out. What the easiest thing to do is just do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Starting out, that's easy because it gives you a rest day in between. And you're still getting 3 days. And then if you want to do something more, you can add cardio in there, or just add it on your weightlifting days. But I would always do my cardio after I do my weights. So that way you save your energy for your weightlifting because you want to give your max effort while you're working out, and then you could do cardio after. Or what you could do instead of taking an off day is you could add your cardio to your off days. So like maybe on Tuesday you don't have a workout that day, I would go for a walk that day. You don't have to do nothing crazy. You don't have to run.
Right. Right.
Just starting out, I wouldn't suggest running at all. Really, I would just suggest walking. Walking, uh, it has a lot more benefits than most people realize. So if you get out and you do a 3 mile walk, that's going to be a lot starting out for you.
Right. Right.
Especially if you're a straight beginner. I think walking's plenty for cardio. And then obviously as you get going, you're going to need to increase that, do more, and that's when you would start running.
So walking is the number one thing I give to some of my clients when they're on a weight loss journey. Is on a treadmill, raise the incline, and just walk at a 2.5 mile pace, and it's super beneficial. And then the weightlifting, I'm a big believer as well in resistance training. They did a study in a European country. I can't remember exactly where it was, but they did patients that were 60 to 80 years old. And some of them were just cardio athletes, biking, running, and then you had patients that were resistance training. And in the study, it actually showed that the patients that did not do resistance training, they were extremely healthy when it came to cardiovascular health, but there were signs of muscle deterioration. So we do need to do resistance training even up in age because it will help retain the muscle, and you're able to get up off the couch and stuff like that and move around. So that is a big thing as well to me is teaching people how to slowly get into resistance training.
Yeah, it's almost the older you get, it's almost more important for you to do the weightlifting. You don't have to do no crazy weights. You don't have to be these bodybuilders lifting 400 pounds. You just need to apply something that's challenging to yourself.
Yes.
Which you don't necessarily have to be super heavy.
Spot on.
And what I would suggest for weightlifting, there's several different kinds of weightlifting you can do, like different focuses. So what I would suggest is try them all out, find what you like, and just stick with that one. So even with the cardio as well, like you may think walking's boring or something to that effect. If you like riding bikes, hey, that's a good form of cardio. You can do biking. Another huge one that I never realized until I started triathlon training was swimming. Swimming's huge and it's hard. Swimming is really hard. Like it humbled me really quick. Like
Really
I
fast.
had to learn. I felt like a toddler in there trying to swim. So I really had to teach myself how to actually swim. You know, when you learn as a kid, you just learn how to doggy
Right,
paddle
right.
and you get it done. But like when I had to learn how to actually swim, it was a huge learning curve for me, and it took me a while. But now I finally got it down. So my swim's been getting a lot better. Yeah, I would just say find something that you like and stick to it. It don't have to be your typical gym bro workout, going in the
Right.
gym doing bench press and squats. It could be you could like some people like CrossFit, some people
Hmm.
like Pilates, yoga. You got all kinds of different things. You got the group fitness classes. Those are huge.
That's
Those
the
are
big
good.
thing. Find you a partner, somebody
Yeah,
that you can do it with, that you enjoy it, and you both hold each other accountable.
yeah. I like the group fitness classes because it creates that competitiveness. Like humans are just naturally competitive, and you may not be like actually competing with that person, but the person next to you, you're like you're consciously gonna be
Yeah.
competing with them whether you realize it or not. You're gonna see them pick it up a notch, and you're naturally just you're gonna pick it up too. You're gonna try to match their energy. So
I'm the world's worst at that. I did CrossFit Saraland for a long time, and that
yeah,
was always my thing. If you were doing something, I wanted to do it as well. I wanted to
yeah.
just
If I
competitive
I
nature.
put I throw a 10 on the bar extra, you're gonna throw a 10 on there too. That's
Right.
just humans are just naturally competitive, in my opinion, or at least that's how I am. So I think they're good because they'll push you a little bit harder even
Right.
without even realizing it.
Right.
So I think the group classes are huge.
All right. So I'm really enjoying the podcast. This is the first time I've ever done something like this. Tell me about what made you want to start the podcast. How did you come to say, well, I think it's time I want to.
So first of all, I listened to a lot of podcasts. Like I got on the podcast train a long time ago when it was first starting to get big. I started listening to them and I really liked them because I feel like they're very educational.
Hmm.
I'm a visual and audio learner. Like
Right.
I can't read a book or read a textbook and learn. I don't comprehend it.
Right.
So my biggest thing is YouTube and podcasts. I watch a
Right.
lot of YouTube videos and I listen to a lot of podcasts because that's how I learn. Especially when I'm trying to learn more about fitness, I like to
Right.
listen to them. So I was like, I spent all this time consuming all this content. I was like, I might as well just do it myself too,
Right.
because I like fitness,
Right.
I like content, I like podcasts. I was like, why can't I do it? If everybody else
Right.
does it, I
Right.
should do it too. And somebody may get something from it. If one person learns
Yep.
something from the podcast, then it was a win. And then if I do go anywhere with it, then hey, that's just a plus. Like, goes along with it. So I got I don't know, I've always liked the social media, the content, things like that. So I was like, I might as well get into it now because if I don't, I'm gonna regret it. So I was like, I'll try it out, see how it goes, and now we're here. We're 52 episodes in, and I like it. I mean, I don't get a million views like I would like to, but hey, we're
It's
here.
coming.
We're getting better at it. And also another thing for me with the podcast that has really helped me out a lot is public speaking.
Right.
So I've always been really bad at public speaking. Like if I was to be in front of a crowd right now, like I'd be sweating, I'd be shaking, and
I'm already sweating.
and I'm bad, and I knew I was bad at it. So that was another thing I wanted to work on, like forcing myself, even though I'm just talking to a camera,
Right.
and more when I do it by myself, I'm the only one in the room. But it has helped me with my public speaking just when I'm talking to myself, and it helps me like carry on a conversation with
Right.
somebody that and this I normally wouldn't hold a
Right.
conversation with. It helps me. It builds up my speaking skills. So that's good for me too. So that's another like plus I've gotten from
Yeah.
it. And eventually, like my goal eventually is to get on a stage one day and give like a motivational speech or something to that effect. So I think this is just the stepping stones to get there.
That's cool. I like that. That's a good answer. All right. What is your favorite thing about fitness? Is it the the after effect when all that dopamine is released and you just feel good, or is there something about the actual activity that you like more?
Definitely, like the dopamine's huge, of course. When you start finally seeing some good results, like that's what pushes me to go even more.
Right.
That's what pushes me to go further. Um, so once you finally start seeing some definition in your muscles, you're like, ooh,
Hmm.
all that hard work I've been doing, it actually
Right.
pays off. Like it
Right.
actually works. So that kind of pushes you to go even further. The dopamine is huge. You get that rewarding effect from it, and it makes you want to do more.
Right.
So that's one thing I like.
Well, let's add real quick to what you just said too, and you said the physical look, right? So getting healthy is internal and external, right? We always want the organs to work right. We want to treat our body right, but the external, when you see those results, that's so rewarding. So one of the things that people get lost in is the scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they get this big misconception that the scale is not moving, they're not losing any weight, and then they kind of start going down this downhill slide of, man, no, it's not worth it, nothing's happening. Like Murphy said, it's you need to see your body, take pictures, track your progress through pictures, and that's when you'll get the visual effects, and you're like, wow, it really was working the whole time, and I was just a little bit too anxious and wasn't patient enough.
Yeah, patience is the key. Most people are very, very impatient because they think, oh, well, I should just lose 20 pounds in the first month that I started working out. And that's not the case. Do it for a year, and then you can if it's not working, obviously you need to change something up.
Right.
But most people, they do it for a certain period of time and they quit because they don't see no results. But you just got to be consistent with it over a long period of time. Like I've been working out for 10 years now, and I'm still not to where I want to be. Like
Right.
I still have goals. I still have body parts that I'm not as developed that I want them to be, and things like that. So it's always a continuous game. You're never gonna be exactly where you want to be, but as long as you're consistent with it, you can always be working closer and closer to that goal. And I think that's where most people go wrong, is they expect too much too soon.
And then learning to be happy with yourself during the journey, right? If you're not loving yourself and happy at the moment that you're doing it, you're not going to be happy at the end. So understand, get mentally healthy, love yourself, and then go through this journey, and it'll be so rewarding.
Yeah, they always say comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely.
So especially with the fitness influencers, and I catch myself doing this on too, because I post stuff online and things like that. So I'll catch myself comparing myself to others, So it's kind of, you gotta be careful with it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. I always say you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. Like I like that little slogan, because they may be 9 chapters ahead of you,
right.
and you're still back here in chapter 1. So you got to work your way through chapters 2, 3, right. 4, and 5 to get to where they're at. So you can't compare yourself. And then some people are just naturally blessed with good genes. So that's another thing. You can't. And then some people have bad genes, so it's gonna be harder for them.
Right.
So I've been blessed with good genes, I would say, because I've never been overweight and struggled with that. With that being said, just because you have bad genes, that don't mean you can't lose weight. You can still lose weight.
Right.
It's just gonna be a little harder for you. You got to work twice
right.
as hard as somebody that's skinnier. So it can be done. So that you got to hold your head in there and keep going, because it is possible, whether you believe it or not. You just can't get frustrated, and you got to be patient.
Right. You have to be willing to put in the hard work. It's a simple process, but it's not easy. It is hard. There's going to be days where you're sick and tired of it. You don't want to do it, and that's okay too. That's one other thing you got to remember. Okay, I messed up this day. That's just one day. Get back up the next day and get right back on it. Don't let it snowball to this huge, all right, you've been out of it for 2 weeks, and then that's when you don't come back from it. But if you can say, okay, yesterday was just a bad day, I was stressed, the dog had an accident or something, whatever it may be, that's okay. You ate wrong for one day, you didn't exercise one day, tomorrow's a new day. Get back at it. All right, last one I got for you. If you could change one thing about the fitness industry, what would it be?
That's a good question. Thing about the fitness industry. I would change I wouldn't necessarily change the environment, because I enjoy the environment, but I would change the like stigma around fitness, that you gotta be like a meathead to go work out in the gym.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of new beginners, they get intimidated by going in a public gym. So I would like to change that mindset of beginners to not think that they're just as capable of going to the gym and working out as somebody that's a big swole guy over here that's lifting all the weight. Because they walk in, they see this guy lifting all the weight, grunting and stuff, and they're like, nah, I can't be in here. So I wish there was a common ground where everybody could be together in one gym and work out, and
Right.
beginners not feel like either insecure, they don't feel awkward, they don't know what they're doing. And most of the time that is the case. Like most like what I call meatheads in the gym, most of them, they're actually really nice people, and
Absolutely.
they would love to talk to you. They would love to give you advice. They would love to help you out. But since they're so big and bulky, people don't
Right.
they don't see that. They're not going to go up to him and ask questions. They're like, oh, he don't want to be bothered.
Right.
He's working out.
Right.
But I promise you, if you have any questions, dude, go ask the big dude. He would love to answer. I promise you. And if hey, there may be a jerk in there every now and then. Oh well, screw that dude. You can go to the next person.
Right.
But most people, they like to help people. Like if anybody comes up to me and asks me a question, I'm gonna try to help them to the best of my ability. I'm gonna try to help them as much as I can. So I would actually suggest, hey, if you ever see me in the gym, come up to me if you have a question, ask me. I would love to talk to you and help you out. And we can even get a little workout in if you want to. So I think people get a bad misconception of people in the gym.
Because, like you said, you've been exercising for 10 years, right? So you have this wealth of knowledge, and then you understand that this person is where you started, right? So you started in the same spot, but you built it. So now you can actually help somebody get to where you are instead of thinking, I'm not where. Well, that person started exactly where you are now, so you can get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like that chapter 1 and chapter 10 thing. They started on chapter 1.
Right.
They may be at chapter
Right.
10, but they started right there where you're at on
Right.
chapter 1. So they put in the time, the effort, the sweat, the blood, the tears. They did all that. So and they got in that time period, they built a wealth of knowledge throughout that time, and they fitness people like to share that because it shows
Yes.
shows that they have learned something, that they put in the work.
Right.
So they get that satisfaction from helping
Right.
other people out too.
Right. That's similar to one of the things that I would change. I wish I could change the way that social media presents fitness them, because they see this person that's taking a picture and they've got perfect abs and perfect physique. What they don't realize is the lighting was correct. They probably just got done doing an hour-long exercise, so the muscles are inflamed, so they look bigger than they are. And then the angles and photographers and editing, right? So these people that get the million views and the likes because they're perfect picture. I promise you, behind the scenes, it's not perfect. So don't be intimidated. Go do whatever you want to do, and somebody's going to be there to help you if you need help.
Yeah, I think that's huge. The lighting and stuff goes a long way.
The pump, it's so
Yeah.
when I take a non-stem pre-workout, I almost look like two different people after a workout, and then you can take pictures and edit and like that, and it makes a big difference, and it does intimidate people that aren't familiar with the fitness industry, and they're hesitant to go do things or change what they've been doing. They see this like I'll never compete with that.
And honestly, for most people, the fitness influencers, that's not even like the goal. Like
Right.
the goal, yeah, some people like honestly for me, that's my goal. Like I want to look the best that I possibly can, and that's not me being like greedy or stingy or anything.
Right.
That's my goal. But I think for the average person, that really shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should just be health in
Right.
general. Like
Right.
your goal should be a workout just to be healthy, to prevent like the muscle loss, to help
Yes.
with to get all the health benefits that lifting weights and cardio can provide for you. It shouldn't necessarily be to look like a bodybuilder. It's
Right.
not everybody's goal. The main goal is just to be more healthy. I mean, yes, some of you will have that goal of looking like a
Right.
bodybuilder, but that's not for everybody. And you don't have to look like that to be healthy. Honestly, most bodybuilders, I would say, are not healthy, or not. They're on borderline healthy.
Right.
Getting down to severe low body fat can be unhealthy in many
Absolutely,
cases.
yes. When you get to the 6% and lower, it does start to cause a little bit of organ damage, and that's okay because we're learning the science behind it, and they're able to change a lot of things. But yeah, uh, getting healthy is internal as much as external, right? Is your cholesterol good? Are your LDLs good? Is your blood pressure good? Are you breathing enough oxygen? Stuff like that. Those are important to the whole aspect of fitness and that healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I think the the bodybuilding kind of goes back to that intimidating thing. Kind of scares people away from fitness because they think they need to look like that, but
Right.
it's definitely not the case. But I have mad respect for bodybuilders. They do incredible things with their body, and they are very disciplined people. Like they're the most disciplined people you'll ever meet in your life, and you cannot a, a like a fit thing in life that you cannot pay for.
Right.
You can't pay money for it. So in order to be that fit, you have to have put in the work, to put in all the extra hours. You have to be disciplined. You have to get up on those days that you don't want to get up on. So like I have mad respect for bodybuilders because they're just some very disciplined people, and they go that extra step.
And we've kind of got to this society where we'll almost look at somebody weird if they are prepped with protein and vegetables and stuff, and we're like, well, that's weird. Why are you normal? That's actually a healthy lifestyle.
I'm that guy. I'm the weird guy. I bring meal prep containers everywhere I go. I'm that person, but it don't even bother me. I mean, people make smart comments and stuff, but it don't bother me. And I actually think it kind of inspires other people to be more healthy. Like they may make a smart comment about it, but in their head they're thinking, "Hey, maybe I should bring my lunch tomorrow." So I've always brought my lunch to work every day. That's just the person I had. And then recently I've been doing my breakfast too, so it helps me. So I'm gonna keep doing it because that's what I enjoy. So, and you can make meal prep good too. Like most people think meal prep's bad. It ain't. Like you can make some good food.
Absolutely, you could, especially crock pot dinners.
Oh yeah, I love
whole chicken, and like my wife makes a fiesta dish with black beans and corn and chicken and some other spices and stuff, and it tastes just as good as something you buy, from a grocery store that's fast food or something.
Yeah, we do something different every week, so we always switching it up. And I got my wife doing it too. Because I started out doing it originally, and then she noticed like one is cheaper and it's easier. You don't have to find food every day. It's already prepped and made for you. So now we do it together, and it's actually like it's the time that we get to spend together now because we're cooking together. So we've enjoyed it. We've been doing it for months now.
That's one of my favorite things about the lifestyle of health and fitness is the family time too. I'm a big time family guy. I love spending time with my wife and kids. So if we can do an activity that puts us together, but is also outside in the sun, doing something, moving our body, drinking some water, that's what we really enjoy.
I'm looking forward to it in the future. I'm gonna wait off a few years when the kids are.
That's right.
Yeah, you got any other questions? That's about all I had.
That's it. I enjoyed it. So for the people on Facebook, Murphy McCammon, what's your podcast and where is it at?
The podcast is the Fitness Beginner Podcast, and you can find it on just about any podcasting service, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I live stream on YouTube, so you can find me on YouTube at the Fitness Beginner Podcast. And then if you just want to follow my own personal page where I post a lot of fitness content, it's Murphy McFit on Instagram, or you can find me at Murphy McCammon on Facebook. I'm on TikTok as well. You can find me on there. Just look me up. It should pop up. And then for everybody listening on the live stream, this is Nicholas Drinkard. He owns Mutiny Welfare in Saraland, Alabama. He has all things supplements, protein, pre-workouts, vitamins. He has a body scanning machine where you can test
medical grade.
Yeah, it's super nice. It'll give you all your body stats, things like that. Pretty much any supplements that you need or want, he's got the energy drinks, the Prime Energy, he's got all that. So y'all come check him out. The easiest way to tell you how to get here is he's right behind Lost Trace.
That's right. Yeah.
Let everybody knows we're Lost Trace. Oh, that leads me. If you're in the local area, you'll like this question. Are you a Lost Trace person or are you an Aztecas person?
Lost Trace all day, every day.
I agree. I'm a Lost. Don't get me wrong. I like Aztecas too, but we eat at Lost Trace pretty regularly. So. But yeah, y'all come check him out. Also, he has an online store, so you can buy things online. It's through your Facebook, correct?
We have an online page. It's
website and Facebook.
Mutiny-welfare.com, or you can do it online. And if you just want to order on Facebook, you can text us. We'll always accommodate however we can.
Yeah, you also have the skinny syrup things. You said have been popular lately.
So that's been popular on TikTok. The water talk. We do the hydro jugs and as many skinny syrups as we can. And if that'll help you get your water intake in, look it up. So we talked a little bit about social media being bad, but social media can also be really good. TikTok is really good for meal preps, learning different foods that are healthy, learning how to get more water intake and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually where I get all my meal prep ideas. Not necessarily TikTok, but social media. I get on Instagram more than I do TikTok. But yeah, that's where I get most of my meal prep ideas from as well. You can put those syrups, you can put them in your coffee, your water, your protein shakes.
Absolutely, protein shakes to the next level.
Yeah, you can put them in anything. So they're pretty versatile in that realm of things. I'm trying to think, what other supplements do you got? The protein bars.
We do the recoveries. We do some fat burners. One of the most popular fat burners right now is from Axe and Sledge, and it's got GBB in it. And they still don't understand what exactly GBB does. Scientists just know that it increases your metabolic rate and makes you sweat profusely. So if you're going to go to work, I would take it like 2 hours or more before, because you'll be sweating cold sweats into your office.
Yeah. Or if you live in Mobile, Alabama, you can just walk outside.
Absolutely, yeah.
This humidity out here is crazy this year. I think that they've been saying we've been breaking like record-breaking months for the highest heat.
Hurricanes are going to be bad as well.
Oh yeah. So I'll make sure y'all drinking y'all's water, stay hydrated, get your electrolytes in, especially out here in this heat.
Absolutely. And smile at somebody. Be nice to somebody. You never know what somebody's going through behind closed doors. One smile can make their day or help them throughout the rest of that day.
Yeah, I like to say spread love for no reason.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. You got anything else you want to?
I don't. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope that we can do this again. I hope that Murphy and I can inspire people and help our community and get our community going where we want to be.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on the podcast. But if y'all like the style podcast, let me know. We can have other people on the podcast. I have a few ideas of people that I want to do one with and connect with. So hopefully we can spread the word throughout the local community a little more and get more people into fitness. That's the whole idea of the podcast, to kind of educate, not necessarily all beginners, but anybody really that wants to get into fitness. So that's the whole idea. But yeah, that's all I got. So y'all catch us next week on the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we'll have some more fitness content coming your way. So yeah, that's all we got. We out.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fitness Beginner Podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring. Remember to always start small, set realistic goals, and most importantly, have fun. Don't forget to tune in next week for more tips and advice on how to kickstart your fitness journey. Until then, stay active and stay healthy.